Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Evan Edinger. As you know, I like to compare interesting things in the UK and the US on my YouTube channel every Sunday. Today, I'm answering the definitive question, what is the best UK supermarket? I've lived here long enough, I've visited all the supermarkets, Tesco, Aldi, who's the best? I think it's pretty obvious, definitive, let's go. Also, by the way, today's video is sponsored by Athletic Greens. You'll hear more about them at the middle of the video. So, to start it off, let's just see. I've got my tier list up here. The first one, it turns out, is Spar. Is that a big supermarket? Do you guys rate Spar? I'm gonna rate it not great. I feel like that's mostly a gas station, right? You go to a Spar when you're on the road, or maybe it's from my experience of a Spar. I've never really seen that big of a Spar. I call it less a supermarket and more a gas market. I'm gonna rate it at a, honestly, it's a D. Who needs to go to Spar? No offense to Spar, but huge offense made. Next up is Sainsbury's, and I think I might divide the room here with this one, but Sainsbury's logo, live well for less. Really? I find the only reason really to go to Sainsbury's is if there's nothing really else in your area. I find that usually the prices at Sainsbury's are just a little bit more than the comparable tiers, and also give you that much for less quality, in my opinion. Like, if I'm comparing it to the others in its same tier, like I said, it's just not that great. I mean, they have the audacity to charge £3.50 for a meal deal, and often their sandwiches are the worst of the bunch. Now, this isn't just Sainsbury's local. However, I've got to give it to Sainsbury's. They did that big old collab with Habitat, and now whenever I go into a big one, God, I'm so tempted. There's so many nice little interior design things from Habitat, so should I dock points? Don't tempt me with your interior design. But no, they're actually pretty great. So it kind of balances a little bit. I like being able to window shop at the Habitat, but in terms of the daily shop, or your weekly shop, I'm gonna have to rate it at C tier. Okay, I'm sorry. It's just a bit too pricey. The Habitat brings it up, but it balances out with how expensive it is comparatively. Also, next up we have Aldi, which is one of the few here that actually exist also in the US, my home country. Now, I did go to Aldi as a kid, but not really in the beginning of my life, only when things were a bit rough. I remember hating it because, well, the cereal was disgusting. It was always like off-brand versions, and they tasted like hot garbage. Now in the UK, I don't hate it. I loved it in Germany because, dang, the baked goods in Aldi are great. In the UK, I find it's great because the price is really low, and so you know what you're getting from Aldi. It's gonna be cheap. They also have a mystery middle aisle where you can find things that nobody really wants. Supposedly this is an exciting feature, but I don't really go that often. I find that they have a really good mixture of what you want from all the tiers. Do you want some frozen food that's got little niche things? Do you want some fresh food? Not really from Aldi, you know, I wouldn't really trust the fresh food from there because it goes off a little bit sooner than other places. However, because the price, I have to rate it at B tier, okay? I'm rating it just a bit above Sainsbury's because if I'm gonna go shopping and I had to choose between those, well, it's gonna be Aldi. It's a bit cheaper, get more for less, which I believe is what Sainsbury's logo is, except you can actually do that at Aldi. Next up, we've got Asda. All right, Asda, for Americans, is basically Walmart, except every time someone said that to me, they're a liar. It's not really the same. Supposedly same like parent company, but very different, very different. Walmart, size of 18 football fields. Asda, even if you go to a big one, not that big, not that. Quick story about Asda. My first time ever going inside one in the UK, I was buying some ground beef, some mince meat, and the woman behind me in line poked me on the shoulder and was like, "Are you new here? I would not buy mince meat from an Asda. You gotta go somewhere else." So that says something. Strangers in the UK open their mouths to tell you, don't buy the meat at Asda. The quality is very low. Out of everywhere I've ever shopped in the 9.5 years I've lived here, in fact, Asda is the only place in which I have bought broken eggs in the carton. And so for that, I'm actually rating Asda. We're at the F tier. I'm sorry, but I'm also not, okay? Why not go to Aldi? You wanna save some, go to Aldi. What are you doing going to Asda, okay? If it's the only thing there, sure, I get it. Next up, we've got Morrisons. Okay, now I didn't have a Morrisons local to me for quite a while after living in the UK, but once I did, boy, it really hits some sweet spots, guys. You go into it, and depending on the Morrisons, sometimes it feels like you're in a gosh dang old market. You got a butcher's, you got a fishmonger, you got the cheesemonger. The one near me and near a couple of my friends, they've got multiple restaurants in there. You wanna get vegan food? You wanna get chippy food? You wanna get milkshakes? the Morrisons, and also the price is really not too bad. I find it that really nice middle ground. In fact, speaking to a lot of people older than myself, I think they used to have a lot worse of an image, but they've somehow changed it around in the last 10, 15 years. Can you believe it? I'm bringing Morrisons to the top tier. S as in saves me some headaches of going to the Asda, okay? I'm not lying. If they sold children at this store, I swear, it's a good value. You get more sons than you'd expect. So that's a terrible pun for you. Next up, Poundland. Now, here's another one. They know what they're saying, all right? It says what it does on the tin. It is a land where you buy things for £1. What do you buy there? You don't expect quality. You're not expecting really much except to spend a very small amount on your shop. Now, I've gotten some basics here because why the heck not? You're gonna go to Waitrose to buy a pair of garden gloves for 10 quid? Who are you? Who are you? Not me, okay? I'm going to Poundland for those things. But when it comes to like, I don't know, cereals and things, or like the basics, like I said, basics probably good if it's local and you're trying to save some money. I don't go there as much anymore because there's not anyone nearby me, but I'd say it's really good in a pinch. It's definitely better than Asda, and it's, I would say worse than Sainsburys though. Like I said, it fits a purpose. I'm actually going to put the Poundland in the D tier with the Spar. Like I said, fits a purpose, but I wouldn't really spend my weekly shop here. Just for some basics, but I'm not gonna go there the whole time. Next up, we have what I can only say looks like worm food. Frozen food specialists, I'm assuming. Farm food, possibly. This is going in a brand new tier, everybody. We're gonna add a row below, and this one is going to be called the, all right, who the is that? We're gonna go with gray. Who the heck? I've never heard of farm foods. Have you guys heard of farm foods? Not me. Well, before we continue on with the rest of the tier list, a quick favor for you guys. I got a negative comment the other day saying, Evan, I hate that your microphone is in shot. Whoa, so now I've got 2 microphones. I'm gonna switch in between while I tell you about today's video sponsor. Please tell me which you prefer. So, today's video is sponsored by AG1 by Athletic Greens. I've been taking it for about a month and a half. What exactly is it, Evan? Well, it's literally just a small green powder you add to a bottle of water every single day you wake up. Well, why would I do that, Evan? I don't want to drink green powder. Yes, you do. This one actually comes with so many vitamins and minerals that my diet is probably lacking a lot of. All the B vitamins, making sure, boop, up to scratch, so that way, no matter what I'm eating, I know that I'm getting the main vitamins that my body craves. And it's also probiotic, so my gut health has been 10 out of 10. Now, if you happen to be traveling and you don't want to bring a giant can of greens, well, if you use my link in the description, you also get some free travel packs of the greens, which is how I've been taking it in LA. And you also get vitamin D supplement that lasts you an entire year and a half, I believe. It's like 600 servings, just a little bit of vitamin D, drip on the tongue, tastes amazing. So please click my link in the description if you'd like to join the Athletic Greens AG1 revolution and get your free vitamin D and travel packs with the link. Thank you very much to AG1 for sponsoring today's video, and hopefully you can tell me which microphone sounded better. Let's remove this one just in case. All right, so next up we have Fultons Food. Honestly, this is going to the who the fuck? Who is that? Who is Fultons Food? Yet again, Heron Foods? Who's made this list? I'm really sorry if these are all like Yorkshire-based companies that have not come down south, but I've never heard of them yet, so we're gonna have to put them in the who the F. Now, Home Bargains, I have heard of because I saw them all over Liverpool. It was basically like a Greggs, you know, they're all over the place. Now, did I go in one? Just once. I was kind of blown away with the prices. Very good bargains. Also, I like that the prices on the outside were just like blaring in your face like, yo, that's a sale. Now, do I rep it? I've not really spent too long in there. My opinion can't be too fully formed. I'm going to have to put it, Home Bargains, along with the Poundland, actually. I felt like it was a nice option, but I'm probably not where I'm gonna be spending most of my time. Next up though, we've got Iceland. Now, not actually the country, it's just a pun on the fact that, well, they sell iced food, frozen food. Now, you can get some niche stuff here, some different types of frozen pizzas and crazy things. But it's not really a place to get your weekly shop. It's for niche types of shops. I don't really like buying much frozen food. I buy more fresh, or at least I try to help my diet. And so for Iceland, despite having a lot of niche things and being pretty cheap, I'm gonna actually have to rate that. I'm actually gonna rate it with Asda. I'm really sorry. It's just not as useful as I was hoping it would be. And if I wanna go somewhere cheap, well, we have Aldi as an option, all right? We have Aldi. It's not that bad. Pound World, oh my God, guys, Pound World, it's like Poundland, just like Disneyland is to Disney World. Pound World is in the who the fuck? I've never heard of Pound World. I'm assuming it's basically the same thing as Poundland, so you'd think that I'd put it in the D. but I genuinely have never heard of it. Please tell me, is it the same thing? I'm not gonna do my weekly shop there. The A is looking pretty barren. We have one S, we have a B, we have a C, and then we have a lot of like However, we got a couple left here. The big kahunas popping in. Lidl. Now, Lidl and Aldi are basically big bros. Two of those places with the middle aisle that's pretty darn cheap. I'm gonna be honest, I do enjoy a good Lidl shop. Just as much as Aldi, which makes sense. You wanna go somewhere cheap, you can't be beat. Lidl's gonna give you all those good options. You don't go there for certain things, but for the most part, I'm very happy to go there for a weekly shop. Is it better than Aldi? No, it's pretty much right there. It's pretty much right there in the B tier. Happy to go there if it's my option. However, next up we've got Co-op. Ooh, now I've spent a lot in some co-ops. I like that if you're a member, you get 10% off, but have I ever been a member? No. No. Prices in co-op, a little bit pricey for what I would like. Most of the co-ops I've seen have been a bit on the smaller side. The meal deals, a little bit on the pricey side, so however, they do got a pretty good option. So like, it's useful when you need it, but I'm going to say Co-op is right up there with Sainsbury's. Big C tier. It's like pretty average. If there's other places available, like genuinely Aldi or Lidl, I'm hitting those guys up. Co-op's just A. Is a Co-op? Sure. All right, M and S, Marks and Spencer's. Now these guys are kind of like the closet Waitrose, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to be like upper tier in terms of the quality, but the prices are really not as bad. So especially when you go into like the big old food hall, I like that there's so many more options when you go into M&S. You know, you got the towels, you got the linens. I think M&S is a really good all-rounder. In fact, I'm putting M&S solidly in the A tier. Like I said, you got a lot of options. The prices aren't as bad as some of the other ones, and it's pretty good quality. I rate Marks and Spencer's pretty highly. Not quite as high as the Morrisons, but that's what I guess. Finally, we've gotten to Tesco. All right, Tesco's finest. Now, when I'm comparing Tesco to any of these, I feel like its main competitor is Sainsbury's, in my mind at least, because my first like 8 years here, it's always either Tesco or Sainsbury's in London. Those are like the main locals and the main biggies. I feel like outside of London, I've now seen a lot more of the bigger shops that aren't those two. But in terms of the quality, Tesco's pretty great. Huge options for the meal deal. Still only £3. Also, loads of food available. I'd say price not as high as Sainsbury's, and yet pretty darn good quality. I've shopped at some really big Tesco's before and was blown away with what I could find. I'm going to rate Tesco. Oh, is it gonna be in the A tier or the B tier? Am I rating that up there with Marks and Spencer's? Yeah, I am. I really am. I think it's right up there. I'd say like, basically quality obviously better at Marks and Spencer's, but price is better at Tesco. So depending on what I'm feeling, that's what I'm going for the weekly shop. And lastly, the big old Tory, Waitrose. Now, people love and hate it. It's just got the goods, okay? You go to Waitrose if you want to buy your fresh fruit, because that fresh fruit will actually last you for quite a while, as opposed to a lot of these other places. But other than that, if you're going to Waitrose for your weekly shop, you've just got money burning a hole in your pocket. I know it must feel nice. You just get to go in and you feel lavish, getting your Chris Bigums and feeling like a big old queen. However, the price is the main thing. I'll go in there for very specific things that I know are nice, some fresh fruit from fresh meats and things, but I'm gonna have to actually rate it, right next to Aldi and Lidl. It's really good quality, but the price is balancing it right out there with Aldi and Lidl. And that is the finished tier list. Morrisons reigning supreme. We got Marks and Spencer's and Tesco in the A tier, B tier being the Germans and Waitrose, and it looks like a pretty good distribution, I'd say. Obviously, the Who the F is kind of balancing it out a little bit, because who the F are those? Please tell me if I'm missing out on some great deals at these places, or if they're just Yorkshire-based. Anyway, as you know, that is the definitive list, and I will accept no questions about it. But if you're into this type of tier list, I have another one coming up that will be even more controversial, so please be sure to subscribe for that, or you can watch a previous tier list right over there. Anyway, I've moved some things around my studio. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Other than that, I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.